Hey, Chris Liepe here with Crawling, Linkin Park, Chester Bennington with special guest Chris Cornell. This is live. I would imagine that many of you have seen this video multiple times. I've seen it multiple times. I thought it only fitting to watch this video with you guys during this time of year. Two of my favorite vocalists, and I've done lots of videos on both of these guys on the channel, talking about their techniques, their approach, how to get there with your own voices. Be sure to check those videos out. In this video, and I'm going to leave links to some of those videos in the description so you can go further with your own voice and with their approaches. But in this video, I really want to hone in on the interaction between these two friends. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about their voices, but let's observe their body language, the roles and postures that each vocalist takes, both with and without Cornell on stage. I think it's important, and we can learn from this kind of thing just as much as we can learn from studying ways to place what they do in our own voice, which is usually what I'm talking about. But here, we're going to be looking at performance, posture, delivery, emotional connection on stage. These guys are two of the greatest singers of our time, and it's just amazing. I never get tired of this and the Hunger Strike appearance that they made together. So let's dive in.
Like this war's really just a different brand of war. Like it doesn't cater to rich and abandoned poor. Like they understand you
and notice how the chord progression keeps going up and up and up with those strings. That's part of the anticipation that we feel, is the intensity in the rap goes up, but the arrangement behind it, don't discount the arrangement.
in a jet when you can't put gas in your tank. These fuckers are laughing the way to the bank, cashing a check, asking you to have compassion, have some respect for a leader so nervous in an obvious way, stuttering and mumbling for like he used to replay. The rest of the world watching at the end of the day in the living room laughing like, what did he say?
I've got to stop the video every so often, especially with Linkin Park stuff. Otherwise, the copyright takedown notices start. So if I'm stopping a lot or I've cut sections out of the song, that's why I'm trying to keep the video up. Chester live, unlayered, raw, is a lot different than Chester in the studio, where he's got the ability to go in behind his cleans. He's very clean. There's this smallness and this boyish nature to his voice that I can't get. Part of it is being very forward. Part of it is that he's a high tenor and he's got that boyish quality to his voice. But in the studio, he layers a lot of grit behind that. And you can see that in some of the other videos that I've done, layering those approaches together. But you don't really hear it much live. You hear every once in a while a little bit of crawl, 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 that kind of coming into his voice. Not much, though. That's a sweet delay loop there. Pulls beneath the surface. He's singing so quietly. Surface. Almost whisper singing there.
Consuming, confusing. This lack of self-control I fear is never ending. Controlling. I can't
Generally, Chester is very accurate and very on, even when he's quiet like this. He pegs those pitches. La, 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 la. But On this section, there's a laziness to him live, which really brings you in.
It's just too much pressure to take.
I felt this way before. So insecure.
There's some nice grit. I still wonder, every time I watch this, did the audience know he was coming? I don't think that they did. It's also just amazing to hear the boyish quality of Chester, and then Chris coming in with that beautiful silky baritone, that loose vibrato. It's like getting a hug. I also want to rewind this real quick and notice Cornell's entrance again here. Such class, right? He walks on, acknowledges the audience, waves to each member of the band, and goes and gives his buddy a hug. The eye contact, and you can see this in other Cornell performances as well. He is very humble. You know, when he gets on stage with Eddie Vedder, when he gets on, he's acknowledging people in a way that's not just like, hey, you're here to see me. Okay, he invests in those people. And you can see this, again, if you have the desire to, you can go out and check out his interviews on YouTube where he's there with Jimmy Page. And the respect and reverence that he gives not only Jimmy, but the audience. That's always something I've noticed about the way Cornell performs, and he brings it into this performance as well. I also just love how Chester's singing off mic in this part. You know, he's involved, they're already interacting, and then of course he gets into it. But I love how it becomes this community thing. Even though it's obviously all about Cornell, they don't make it that. So a couple things. When Cornell goes up to the so insecure, you can tell he's relaxed. He leans back a little bit, gets into the mic a little bit, but he's not doing what Chester does when he goes up there. He leans back into his mix. So insecure! Not that. He lays back. He's giving Chester that ground. So insecure is more like what Cornell does. And I think that's important in the relationship that they're establishing on stage. Then you notice Cornell takes the lower. He's known for his soaring high melodies. He gives that to Chester and he creates this beautiful baritone underpinnings that go underneath Chester's aggression. And you can see it and hear it. Chester becomes more aggressive and engaged simply by having Cornell underneath. He's a lot more gritty and emotional here than he was at the beginning. Good reason. I love how he lets his vibrato go and doesn't really try to blend tonally or even really phrasing wise. This is about the diversity between the two voices, and it works because we both love these voices. Typically in this kind of setting, you wouldn't, as a background vocalist like Chris Cornell is assuming here, you wouldn't use vibrato. You'd make sure that you're locked in with the phrasing of the other singer. But here, this is more about them getting in and doing what they do well and letting it be what it is. This fusion of two very different voices. I love that part of it, how they arrange that.
Linkin Park! Our good friend Chris Cornell!
I think it's neat, this is a really small thing, but when Cornell says, Linkin Park! At the end, that is up in the range that he would have been singing the higher section, the melody line that Chester was singing. It's neat to hear his texture, even though that's just a spoken sort of aside. I know Chris Cornell thinks about that stuff, thought about that stuff in live and in the recording situations. He was so intentional. And it's just neat to see all of these subtle things that he adds here that are very intentional, that connect this performance together and make it what it is.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be able to share the stage with him every night.
Thanks for watching this with me and enjoying it with me and picking out some details about the performance and the relationship between the two voices that maybe you hadn't seen or noticed before. I have a lot of fun making these videos. Thank you, a lot of you, for bringing this video up again and suggesting I do a video on it. Thank you. It's because of your suggestions and your interaction that a lot of the videos get made. So leave other suggestions below. If you'd like help with your voice and getting to know it better and help experimenting with it and discovering what it can really do, click the link below and join my free voice course. And be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so that you keep being made aware of new videos that I put out. We'll see you for more.